Next month will mark 1 year since the U.S. pulled its military forces out of Afghanistan. And as we approach that milestone, one refugee now lives here in Tulsa, and he's reflecting on his own escape. He believes the U.S. could do more to help others still stuck in that country. News on 6's Jonathan Cooper with those details.
That man has now been in the United States for about 8 months, and we're protecting his identity because he says he still fears for his family in Afghanistan. An Afghan refugee now living in Tulsa says his life changed dramatically nearly a year ago when the United States pulled forces out of the country.
Everything is just crazy. There is no education, there is nothing to eat, nothing, so it's completely worse.
Saber now lives in Tulsa and works with Catholic Charities of Eastern Oklahoma. We are not showing his face because he fears the Taliban would hurt his family if they knew he was talking to media. Saber says he had never been to the U.S. before now and had worked as a translator for the U.S. Embassy. He says when the Biden administration decided to pull the final troops out at the end of August of last year, the country went into turmoil. For 3 months after the withdrawal, Saber directed nearly 300 of his colleagues out of the country, finally leaving himself in November.
I worked with them as a supervisor or as a team leader, stuff like that, and I help with 6 flights.
He says others who didn't get out in time are stuck there, and some who are eligible would now like to come to the U.S. Saber says the U.S. government has tried, but he thinks they could do even more.
It's not in my power, and so we need the U.S. government. I mean, we politely request from the U.S. government to help those folks who still remain in Afghanistan.
And with the Taliban now in charge, Saber says poverty is getting worse, and he fears for the future of people still there. Saber is now using his English skills here in Tulsa to help other Afghan refugees as they settle into the United States. Reporting in Tulsa, Jonathan Cooper, Oklahoma's Own News on 6.